近来美方官员不断散布类似的不实言论，对此中方已经详细列举事实，全面拆穿了美方的谎言。我们奉劝美方官员把精力用在做好自身疫情防控工作上，而不是试图到处甩锅、转移视线，这只会欲盖弥彰，无助于缓解美国国内的疫情，而且严重干扰中美抗疫合作，损害两国关系。
你娃的主要问题，打人骂来，洗脸好几，哪里报的我全的，等爱国的，结果把你气掉了，我就把你吓坏了，不要脸。
这是我适合翻还是听？
我让你来，好的。我的王八蛋。
走。
目前还没有完全解封，没有证件，有的地方还是进不了。看看有什么好工作。我大开眼界，没有招工，现在都在招老板呢。麻烦了，很多过来找工作的扑了个空。
做好勤洗手、戴口罩、多量体温、多消毒哦。NT 蓝胶温暖价给您，推出。
出不去。我在广州，刚刚复工1个月，马上就通知要放假了。这个复工以来做出来的产品，现在是出不去。欧美国家都锁关了，现在全部堆在仓库，仓库堆满，还堆到车间来了，全到处都是货。现在很多做外贸的工厂，很多都放假了，甚至东莞那边很多厂甚至倒闭都有。工厂鼓励你主动辞职，然后算完工资给你回家。
那前面谁拦我的？是你拦的还是他拦的？
怎么了？
啊？
怎么了？
交通法懂不懂？
我知道你。
我直行，他是出来，他是知道，我是主道，我正常行驶，他又不是警车，凭什么拦我？我凭什么要给他让道？
这里边
来回答我，
你不知道吗？
交通法懂不懂？
不懂啊。
不懂啊？你辅警，你一个辅警不懂交通法？
不要动手啊！
不，我看看你警号。
哦，你看我，来，看。
交通法都不懂，站在这里执勤，执什么勤啊？
喂，你给我回家，来一个，来一下，我转身我，来一下，来一个。
不是你们几个月都没发工资了？
我们3个月啊。
啊
？3个月。
3个月没发了，都一样吗？
全一样的，没事，不用说。
啊，他会给是吧？
他早晚会给。
早晚会给。那他这种方式是不是怕你们不干？
这是有点屌啊，像这样子好啊。
效率多高，不用排。
It's been 3 weeks since Chancellor Angela Merkel announced the initial restrictions on contact. Now they're being largely extended. Social distancing rules will remain in place until May 3rd. From May 4th, schools will gradually reopen.
We have to understand that as long as there's no vaccine, we have to live with the virus.
Today, the UK government is set to extend the coronavirus lockdown, which is transforming life for everyone in the UK. Ministers are expected to agree a further 3 weeks of social distancing controls. Northern Ireland has already confirmed that restrictions will stay in place there for at least 3 weeks.
The first human trial for a coronavirus vaccine set to begin next month in Australia.
Yeah, clinical research company Nucleus Network will start recruiting volunteers in Brisbane and Melbourne, giving them a vaccine developed in the US, hoping it will be the one that can protect against COVID-19.
About the origins of the coronavirus. Multiple sources say this may be the costliest government cover-up of all time by China. But there is a growing belief that the COVID-19 virus originated in the Wuhan lab, not as a bioweapon, but as China's effort to find and deal with viruses to show the world China was as good as or better than the U.S. on that front. It's believed that the virus was bat to human, and then the human, patient zero, worked at the lab, went into the population in Wuhan, and the virus quickly spread from there.
Now, according to a U.S. media report that quotes a report released by the U.S. State Department, China might be secretly conducting nuclear tests with low explosive power. Now, this particular report has led to a lot of ripples, but it states that China might be, in fact, conducting nuclear tests without informing the world bodies.
But I will tell you, more and more we're hearing the story, and we'll see. We are doing a very thorough examination of this horrible situation that happened. Go ahead.
Your thoughts, I guess, first of all, just your reaction to that story and that question from John Roberts. What do you say to that?
Well, Martha, thanks for having me on the show tonight. The mere fact that John had to ask the question, the mere fact that we don't know the answers, that China hasn't shared the answers, I think is very, very telling. To your point, President said that there are multiple sources. What we do know is we know that this virus originated in Wuhan, China. We know that there is the Wuhan Institute of Virology just a handful of miles away from where the wet market was. There's still lots to learn. You should know that the United States government is working diligently to figure this out. But what we really need, Martha, we really need the Chinese government to open up. They say they want to cooperate. One of the best ways they could find to cooperate would be to let the world in, to let the world's scientists know exactly how this came to be, exactly how this virus began to spread. Today you saw further evidence that there were days that went by from when the Chinese Communist Party, the leadership there, knew about this virus before they told the public writ large. That's dangerous. A lot of cases, a lot of movement, a lot of travel around the world before the Chinese Communist Party came clean about what really transpired there. These are the kind of things that open governments, democracies don't do. It's why there's such risk associated with the absence of transparency. We need it still today.
I know the president talks a lot about the trade deal and making sure that they don't renege on their promises there. It almost feels like that's the one piece that is holding that relationship together at this point, because we're counting on those trade agreements and those trade relationships with China.
Well, we've seen the president be serious about righting the disaster that was the trade relationship before he came to office. He's made it more fair and reciprocal. We have an expectation that they will live up to their obligations under the Phase 1 trade deal. It was a good deal for both parties. As for the relationship, we want to cooperate. It's 1.5 billion people in China. We want the Chinese people to be successful, but it requires leadership that's prepared to engage in the international community on a fair and reciprocal basis and to share information the way we expect every nation to do that. It doesn't appear that that happened here. The president talked about their data today, and he asked if anybody believed the numbers of deaths and the numbers of cases inside of China. That's the kind of doubt and uncertainty that happens when you close down, when you kick journalists out of your country. All we're asking is for the Chinese to cooperate and share that information with us. It would be very helpful to the United States. It'd keep us safe. Frankly, it'd keep the Chinese people safer, too.
Do you trust what you hear from the Chinese officials when you deal with them?
You know, it varies. I try to take them at their word, but we're always, in every relationship we have, trying to make sure we verify everything. It's not about words, it's about actions. We need to make sure that every country lives up to the commitments that they made.
So I want to ask you about these cables, this story that came out a couple of days ago in the Washington Post by Josh Rogan that said that there were cables that were highlighting very big concerns about what was going on in these Wuhan labs, that they felt that there weren't enough people there given the highly contagious and dangerous materials that they were dealing with these bats and these viruses. They said that it was highly likely that a pandemic could result from how mishandled everything was there. What happened to those cables? Who received them in the State Department? Who went over them in the State Department 2 years ago?
Martha, I appreciate you want to ask about that. I can't comment on the cables tonight. I can say this. This is a laboratory that contained highly contagious materials. We knew that. We knew that they were working on this program. Many countries have programs like this. And in countries that are open and transparent, they have the ability to control and keep them safe, and they allow outside observers in to make sure all the processes and procedures are right. I only wish that had happened in this place. We would know more about it, and we would know more about what has transpired there, if anything, today.
Is that something that you're looking into? What happened with those bits of information and who followed up on them?
Absolutely, Martha. We're doing a full investigation of everything we can to learn how it is the case that this virus got out into the world, and now has created so much tragedy, so much death here in the United States and all around the world, at an enormous cost to the global economy as well.
I mean, one person who's obviously also very involved in World Health is Bill Gates. He takes issue with the American decision, the president's decision, to stop funding them, at least temporarily, until we get some answers on all of this. Here's what he said. Halting funding for the World Health Organization during a World Health crisis is as dangerous as it sounds. Their work is showing the spread of COVID-19, and if that work is stopped, no other organization can replace them. The world needs the WHO now more than ever. What do you say to that, given the president's decision?
Well, what the world needs is an institution, an organization that actually delivers on the mission set, right? The thing the president caused the president to make this decision was the fact that the World Health Organization didn't do that. That for an awfully long time it said that there wasn't a pandemic. It delayed announcements about things that it knew inside of China that were going on. That's about politics, not science. We need a scientific organization that is engaged in the medical, epidemiological, and health work that it was designed to do. The president's now put a pause on funding. We're going to evaluate how best that this mission be executed, and it is designed to make sure we protect America and protect American taxpayers, too.
Let's go specifically, we know, and I'm going to go through the punch list of what we need to do to reopen. Part of that we know is to some sort of specialty technique about sequestering the high morbidity, either certain minority communities, right, where it's dense population, or the nursing homes. Let's take the nursing homes. The difference between New Jersey, and I think Phil Murphy's doing a really good job. I worked with Phil at Goldman, super guy, right, although liberal Democratic governor. But the difference between New Jersey nursing homes and Florida nursing homes. And that's why, tell them what the difference is and why we now have to have a conversation so heads are not blowing up when the president does this.
I hope that this is not political in its basis, but what you're seeing is in a lot of these conservative states, particularly Florida, and there's plenty of interviews, I can read the statements of the doctors down there. They are doing a combination of all the antivirals down in Florida. They are doing the hydroxychloroquine, the azithromycin. There's now an old age home in Florida that is openly saying that We're giving them the ivermectin too. And the doctor was being interviewed, and he said, look, the key is you got to get them on this stuff early. And he said, if they're on it early enough, I get 100% recovery rate. None of these people end up having to be in the ICUs. And now I'm even been in discussions with a doctor up in New Rochelle, and because of the FDA guidelines saying that should only be given to the most severe patients, they weren't giving it to people until they were intubated. Well, I spoke to him last Friday. He said, we're giving it to them now as they walk in the door.
Bingo. That has to get on the table now because, the mainstream media is going to go nuts on this. And let's compare it to New Jersey. One of the stories that's buried the most that I think we're going to have a national conversation is these 17 bodies they found in a storage room, because the stories don't even address what care were those folks getting during the time. How did they just appear? They had 17 in a old age home morgue that I think could take 2 or 3 bodies. They had 17 just stacked up. And there's no follow-on, but hey, how did these people died of the virus? But how were they? How was it noticed? How the family notified? What treatment did they get, etc. My point is that's where you're seeing it like that's out of control, right? Well, and you look in Florida where you thought it was going to be devastated, and it's not. And why is that? Because and that's one of the mass on point things you have to have. You have to have therapeutics, and the progressives are going to go nuts because President Trump's been out front on the therapeutics, right? And they're just going to go crazy about it. That's where we have to have, hey, this is about the country and about saving lives.
And you've seen this sort of odd drift towards a totalitarian kind of perspective with the governor of Nevada, the governor of Michigan, who they now apparently are trying to have a recall on. When reality is, and this is the history of medicine.
10 of you guys show up on a state thing. Now they're trying to have a recall.
And Steve, you were brilliant about this when you said it on Maria Bartiromo. All of this, every aspect of the treatment of this disease should be between the doctor and the patient. 100%. The governor should stay out of it. Everybody should stay out of it and let the doctors decide what the best treatment regime is.
他这个接下来对欧洲的以欧制美，通过这个疫情，它会加速美国和欧洲，包括日本，它的联盟的全面合作。接下来出手的事情就是获利法案将从美国对共产党的合法的经济和司法系统的查封、没收，扩展到美国的联盟。这个恰恰就是我们爆料革命想要的。这一天一旦开始，共产党没了，绝对没了，永远都不可能再回来。他花多少钱都撤掉不了这个法案。这个一旦开始，资本主义的资本家们闻到这血腥味儿，就像那饿了100天的鲨鱼闻到鲜血一样，让它停下来是不可能了。我们现在要的事情不是查封我们中国人的钱，在海外能查封的就是在洛杉矶给王岐山家开的中国银行的分行，连保险都没买，只接受大额的存款，服务着几个小区的王岐山家族、陈峰家族、姚氏家族。和在美国、在欧洲、在日本的打着共产党的国营的名义，像马云，还有什么蚂蚁金服、平安集团、保利集团、北方工业，包括在中东，中石油、中海油、中石化、中国神华投资、中国神塑投资、中国神云投资，玩着人民币的战友们，这些钱呢，可是中国人这几十年的被盗出来的，打着国家的名义的血汗钱，没有一笔钱能查出是合法的。在 UBS 银行存着上万亿的江家的钱、朱家的钱，你说那能拉倒吗？
瑞士不跟吗？我再告诉大家，随着获利法案接下来就会用瑞克法案对付共产党，它就合法化了，那就彻底合法了。你用多大的词儿形容这个法案，它都不会过，它都不会达到那个高度。